Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSP review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at God of War Ghost of Sparta, which if you've never played it before, it's an action-adventure game, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best God of War game in the series. I absolutely love it to death, and, well, I might as well get on with it from there. At the start, obviously, you can go new game, you can then load the game once you've got some data. Options, pretty much the same as all God of War games. There's not really any point in them being there, they're so basic and minimal. Treasures are the usual unlockable stuff. You've got the combat arena you can go in, you've got the challenge of the gods, which is just a few challenges. You can appear orbs to unlock stuff in the Temple of Zeus, and then you've got the galleries and the videos, so the usual stuff. So let's load the game. I am going to obviously keep it spoiler free, but I'm still going to go into a file that's further into it so I can at least show off the better weaponry. So this is basically the latest God of War game, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best one. It's got a good story, granted not as good as, well, for example, the first one, but I love the new things about it, one of which is that you can now set your blades on fire, called Terra's Bane, or Terra's Bane, however it's pronounced, and it's one of those, it's the red bar at the bottom of the three, and you can get Minotaur horns to upgrade it, so whereas you used to always be able to get the ogre eyes and the phoenix feathers, you can now get Minotaur horns and Speak of the Devil, and that actually increases how much of that you can use, and when you get it full, it's just excellent. You can also upgrade it so that as you set them on fire, you can make your enemies explode, which is really good. And it's just all the new things like that that really makes this, as far as I'm concerned, the best one yet. The combat is just superb. The puzzles, it's one of those, I do enjoy the puzzles, I didn't really find them a problem. There are some people out there saying that the puzzles are easier on this one or not as inspired, but it's one of those. I think God of War's pretty much proved that it can do that, so maybe it just wanted to prove that they're not done with the combat yet, and that the combat can be even better than what it was, because this is the type of thing that now, I think, this is the pinnacle of God of War, and I hope there's another one now, because I think they can do wonders with it. And I know that probably sounds really stupid, saying they can do wonders with it. I mean, for crying out loud, it's God of War, it's one of the most respected, highly regarded franchises out there, and it's like that for a reason. But I basically mean that as great as it has been, I think they can now take it to another level and, well, set record books alight again type thing, like break awards, like break records for getting more awards than they did before and things like that, and I hope so. I'd love to see a new one with this sort of gameplay added to it, and the setting the blades on fire and that. There's also obviously new magic powers with it, so you've now basically got like a Medusa's head type thing, but it fires electric. You've got your spear set, of which you can actually throw your spears as well as use the shield to deflect well, special things. You can pull out this dark ball of energy or something. You can swing a huge ice hammer, and it's just one of those. Everything about the game, all the new stuff, I love. There's nothing I can see it I wish that wasn't there. Granted, that's not to say there aren't some things that I wish weren't on from the old games. I still do think that the Poseidon's Rage is one of the best magic attacks in all of God of War, and I think it should be in every God of War game just because of how much I love it. But that's not saying that the new ones are bad, I'm just saying the old ones are also great. So that's pretty much everything I can say about the combat, really. The campaign mode, it's one of the few times I can actually tell people how long I took to beat a game, because this tells you, and this was 7.5 hours long, although 20 minutes of that was the world's longest credit sequence that makes you think, oh god, when is this going to end? Oh please, oh please, oh please, just end. But it's worth watching because of what happens after the credits. I'm not going to say any more. So it's one of those. The original game, the original PSP one, I'll start with that, took us 5 hours, so they've increased that length. The original God of War game took us 10 hours, so they've decreased that length. But for a PSP game, that's fantastic. And that's something about the whole of this game. You never think this is on a PSP. it's just one of those. They've done such a good job. You don't ever think, if only this was on a console, it wouldn't be like this, because it's so damn good that it feels like you're on the console. You're never hindered by the controls. You never, well, obviously you're going to notice the difference of the graphics by not being HD, but for the PSP it looks fantastic, and just everything else about it, you never really think it would be better on the console. You're quite happy and content with what you've got, because what you've got is one of the best games of all time as far as I'm concerned. I absolutely love this to bits, and once I started playing it I couldn't stop, and the challenges are something else that once I start playing them I couldn't stop, because even though I don't really like that sort of thing, I usually get bored with them. On God of War, it's another excuse to experience the fantastic combat, so it's the type of thing that I actually enjoy doing. Like all the other God of Wars, once you've beat it, that's not the whole story. You've got things that you can do, and with this one, you've got different costumes that you can wear that do different abilities. Like, for example, you can play as Deimos, who inflicts more damage, so I'll choose him to just show him off, really. And you can also, on this one, get some relics, which I'll have to skip the cutscene, which thankfully you can do that on the second playthrough. I hate it on games where on the second playthrough, once you've seen the story, you can't skip them, because while they're great on this, it's the type of thing that I don't want to watch them again and again and again, because I'll get sick of them, and it's the type of thing that on the longer cutscenes you want to skip it. So with this, it's a good thing that you can. But as I was saying, as you go through the game you can find relics, and the relics basically are cheats. It's one of those, if I quickly swap over to them and find them, you can, where is it? Here we go, Callisto's armband. You can automatically win the context sensitive minigame. So basically, like in all God of War games, when you've got things come up like push X, push square, push triangle in order to beat an enemy, they automatically do it now, so you can just watch it as if it's a cutscene. You can put Athena's owl on, which means that the screen turns green when there's a hidden treasure around. You can give yourself the Might of Sparta, which I will show off because it's excellent. You can get more orbs, which again, as you have to get orbs to unlock things in the Zeus thing, it's worth having on. You can give yourself infinite magic, so I'll just put all of them on for now. And it's just one of those, it adds more excuses to play the game, really, because now you can just play it for the orbs to then unlock stuff, albeit it's not exactly a challenge when you've got infinite magic, because let's just face it, you can just continually do this and never die, really. But it's still one of those things that the cheats can make some parts more fun than others. For example, the context sensitive mini-games, because once you've beat an epic boss for the first time, it's one of those. Personally, I don't like having to do the mini-games again, because I end up getting bored and end up messing up, so I'm glad that I can skip those now by having it do them for me. As you probably also have guessed, but I know I haven't mentioned it, you can upgrade your weapons, and when you start a new game you can have all your weapons and magic at maximum from start, which is quite nice. Well, at least that is if you upgraded them on your first playthrough. Thankfully I got enough orbs to do so, but it's just, again, it just adds to the replayability, because now you can play scenes with well, scenes that you might have struggled with better weaponry and that, and basically it's just the whole point of why you need to collect the orbs, not just for the Zeus thing, because to be fair, you don't really have the Zeus thing. Like, it's not in your mind when you beat it on your first playthrough. Instead, you're too busy thinking, oh good, I've got enough to upgrade me main weapon, or oh good, I've got enough to upgrade this magic. Never honestly once thought, now if I just save this, then I can spend them in Zeus afterwards. But that's pretty much everything I can say about the game. In case you haven't guessed, I love everything about it. It's one of those, if you've never played God of War before, do not start with this one. You might as well start with Chains of Olympus, it'll be cheaper. Even though this is the better game, it's one of those, if you're interested in the story, then really you're going to have to start with Chains of Olympus and then find a way to get 1 and 2, either on the PlayStation or on the PS3, and play Chains, then God of War 1, then this, then God of War 2, then God of War 3. And hell, I'd actually quite happily get the next game to be set between 2 and 3, and it's just one of those. I quite like the little side games, because even though they're not part of the main story, they fill in so much and they're done so well that I love everything about it. The only thing, as you might have noticed, that is a bit sloppy with this, and it's the only thing that I can slag it off for in a game of almost perfection, the cutscenes don't have you as Deimos when you're playing as Deimos, so it just looks a little bit dodgy. But it's one of those, obviously I knew the story wasn't going to change, because well, the whole point is Kratos is trying to find Deimos, but it's the type of thing that you should really be able to see your new costumes, your cooler ones, in the cutscene. This is Sparta! So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.